What's going on, everybody? I'm out in the middle of nowhere on this beautiful Memorial Day weekend. I'm out at a rodeo in Texas. My connection may not be great. I'm going to warn you. So this, by the way, not just another long weekend. It is Memorial Day weekend, and I will have a full Memorial Day video and chat tomorrow. So we'll talk about that then. But I wanted to get a little rant in tonight. Please share this out. This is going to be quick because I don't have a ton of time, but we got a ton of stuff to talk about. Things like the lottery in California for those that have the V word, the Fauci ouchie. We've got forced COVID forced COVID vaccines in jail. I want to talk about Cash. I've been talking to Cash last couple of days, and what's going on is absolutely criminal. It's criminal. It's not unconstitutional because you got to actually fight the Supreme Court. You got to take it all the way up on something that is a emergency use authorization they are forcing. And I'm going to explain what exactly they are doing out there. BLM co-founder, holy shit, she stepped down. Shocker, because misappropriation of funds. And tell me if anybody yet actually can tell where $1 out of the hundreds of millions have gone. Finally, the tide is turning. Even Democrats are going, you know what? BLM might be a gigantic sham, which is what we've said all along. Conservatives, me. Black lives do matter, 100%. I appreciate that. But the organization is absolute garbage. Soons, what's going on? I'm going to be quick on this one, then we get back on shows, maybe even on the drive tonight. I don't know. Got a long 3-hour drive back. I want to talk about real racism, which is at the rental car counter in Costa Rica. People have so many issues with the United States being racist. I want to tell you the way things really happened out there and the fact that I stood up for those in line on what was going on, because that actually really happened. I want to tell you that story. What else? Let's see. Oh, and then $1,000 tickets to go to a concert in Florida right now in Tampa, I think it is. $1,000 if you're unvaccinated, or it's like $19.99 if you have got the Fauci ouchie. So cool. That's interesting way of separating society. It is a private concert. You do you. But let's talk about Cash real quick. I know a lot of you guys are wondering what's going on. So this is the background. I see just a few comments. I need you guys to flood it. Flood the box with comments. I've no doubt about BLM. Yeah. All right. So I need you guys to flood the comments. Say where you're from, etc. Cindy, I'll tell you what that $1,000 is all about. Go ahead and hit. We've got actually a decent amount, 70 people watching. Everybody right now that's watching, hit the thumbs up, hit the heart, hit the care button, hit something to trick the algorithm. Let's get these views back going because we got a great show on Tuesday. I've got a guy coming on, Truth Will Set You Free, that actually wrote, yes, pandemic blunder, and talked about all the failures across sports. That's going to be a great show on Truth Will Set You Free on Tuesday night. And we got William King Hollis, one of the biggest motivational speakers in the world, on Wednesday on Changemakers. Super jacked. He actually wants to take Be the Change to another level. Yeah, I got to get him and Cash talking on the phone because together it'd be game over. It's done. All right, let's talk real quick. What's going on with Cash? So here's the rule. Right now, they've been at 23-hour lockdown, 1 hour out because of COVID. Then they went just in the last week, they've gone to 22-hour lockdown, 2 hour out, which means you can't get a haircut, can't go to the library, all these different things. Now, on June 1st, it is being lifted. It is being lifted for all the inmates. The 22-2 is no longer, unless you refuse to get the Fauci ouchie, unless you don't get the jab and stab. If you don't get it, you have to remain on 22-2. Now, I know I had some people say, well, that's why you don't go to, you don't break the law. You don't go to jail. I have news for you. Most of the people that are a part of this, actually all the people, Cash is one of the exclusions because he's actually convicted of a previous crime, and that's why he's still in there for the most part. I'm going to tell you a secret. None of them have been convicted, and they have not had their due process to a fair and speedy trial. So these are people that now should not be in there, should have the ability to post bail, should have the ability to do a bunch of things, that now have an option of sticking with this ridiculous 22 hours in, 2 hours out, 2 hours out, no haircuts, no library, no anything. They're being forced into getting the V word. That's to me ridiculous. And again, this is not that I have a lot of faith in the FDA. This is not an FDA approved thing. It won't be until probably around 2023. I think this is absolutely insane. Again, share this out there in the way they're treating people. I already talked to Cash. He's refusing to get it. He's like, I'll take my 22-2. Forget about it. This is absolutely ridiculous. Now, with that said, it's not against the law. It sets precedent. They've got a 1905 precedent, 1922 precedent. In times of pandemic, they're allowed to do whatever they want. mostly dealing with schools. This prison thing's a little bit different, but it's absolutely insane. So yes, that's what's going on with Cash. I've talked to him. I don't know really what rights he truly has as somebody in jail. But again, we're seeing it doesn't matter. They're pressing school children in different parts of the country without parental approval. This is absolutely insane. Now, speaking of California, which is already known as, although a very lucrative state in terms of natural resources, that's $115 million of their COVID relief budget is now going to only those that have gotten Fauci'd, is what I would like to call it. Gotten the ouchie, gotten the Fauci ouchie, gotten the jab, stab, get $1 million, whatever. School children, college students, as well as those that are just living in the state of California. You have, if you haven't gotten it yet, there's even different incentive lotteries. So again, it is giving money. It is giving money to those that are getting the V word. This is absolutely insane. Wendy, going back, yes, Supreme Court is the only route that we could go, that Cash could go, but this is a year's process just for this. They know that nobody's going to push the envelope. Cash wants to, especially when he gets out, but we'll see. So yes, they're a state that right now is hurting for funds, with massive amounts of homeless population, issues, crappy, dirty, etc. They're going to be spending $115 million strictly to those that are choosing to take the Fauci ouch. We are now separating our society, which I'll just quick jump to Florida, where there's a private concert, so you're allowed to do whatever you want. Might I add, on CNN, there was big news because the restaurant charged $5 extra for those wearing a mask, or $5 extra for anybody that talked about getting the V word. And by the way, they weren't taking that money. They were actually using that to raise money and then donate it to charity. So it's for a good cause. This person, $1,000 if you are unV'd, and then $19.99 or $29.99 if you are V'd. I don't even know how to keep saying it because I don't want to get dinged again. But that's insane. We are now drastically separating our society, and it's being celebrated and accepted. And that's in a state that's ultra red, with DeSantis ruling the roost out there. And because it's private, they're allowed to do what they want. I think this is, again, more grounds for Supreme Court hearings. This is absolutely insane. Soons just said San Francisco passed an order of 12 years. Holy God. This is absolutely insane. Unbelievable. Oh my God. That makes me, yeah. It's, I don't know. I read the article on, I think it was Tampa, Renee. Not totally sure. All right. So let's go to, all right. I want to talk about real racism. This is what happened to me in Costa Rica. I had a great trip. Now, coming back was absolutely mind-bogglingly brutal. You have to get last-minute tests. It felt like this kind of odd scam. If you go out of the country and have to get it, and they tell you at the airport, you can get it at the airport. Don't worry about it. Don't. Get it 2 days earlier. Get it at a lab. Don't put yourself through the stress of carrying around your bags through all these weird shuttles where you feel like you're a farm animal. So, it's pissing me off, too. It's absolutely ridiculous. So, what happened in Costa Rica, when I got in and when I got out, I saw the same thing happen. We get to our counter. We rented from a company called Economy, which therefore was then at Payless. Economy was like the Expedia. We paid $140 because we got a four-wheel drive, off-road vehicle. They told us that we had insurance for all the vehicles around us. That's just naturally what came with it. But in order for us to have insurance for the rest of it, we have to pay $29 a day for our own vehicle, or put in a $1,500 deposit. And I'm like, all right, or actually $2,500 deposit. Ridiculous. It's a scam. But then there was a black couple next to us. Might I add, Kelly saw that they were wearing a Black Lives Matter t-shirt. I didn't discriminate. Why? Because I helped these people out, and I stood and fought with them, because this is what happened. Again, people think America is so brutal. So they then took these people and said, you guys have no insurance on your reservation, that they did on Expedia. Now tell me how Expedia would allow anyone to rent without insurance. It was a complete scam what they were doing. So they said they spent $120 on their regular rental car, whatever it might be. And they said, not only would they have to get insurance for themselves at $30 a day or the $2,500 deposit, but for the regular insurance, they owed another $350 or almost $400. That's what they were forcing them to pay. Another $400. For no reason. And I'm like, holy shit. And it was a black couple. I'm like, and I fought with them at the counter, and I said, don't charge them that. And we went back and forth. I don't know how it ended up, but I spent 5 extra minutes trying to say that that's ridiculous and that's BS, because there's no way Expedia would do that and some random online company, Economy, wouldn't. It was terrible. So then on the way back, the black ladies that we were with in the car were talking, and they started talking about the issues they had at the counter. They were forced, we did the math, they were forced to pay an extra $200 insurance, and they said they paid it because they got stuck. They had no other thing that they could do. They didn't feel like at that time they had stuff to go to. So black females and then a black couple had the exact same issue that a white person and his girlfriend did not have in Costa Rica. I want to be very clear. And they tried screwing them out of gas money on the way out, even though their tank was full. They tried screwing us too. They did screw us, actually, but they were trying to screw them. Regardless, they tried to screw everybody from out of the country, but especially black people. If you want to know what racism looks like, that is it. And that's not in the United States of America. Can you imagine if that happened in the United States? The progress we've made as people in the United States have at least got us past that. And I want to recognize that. And I wanted to be very clear that the person that people deem as ridiculous, racist, whatever, stood by both of these people, fighting with them to the end with the issues at the counter, to be very, very clear. That's called being an ally, not a fucking black square. Sorry, pardon my French. Black square about a year ago after George Floyd died, because that really did anything. Okay, so last but not least, we got the COVID test. We got the $115 million. And let's talk the BLM co-founder. This is what's great. And I posted on my personal page. So the BLM co-founder, Charisse, what is her last name? Patrice Cullors, interesting last name, has stepped down because of misappropriation of funds. And they're now finding that not a single dollar has actually been allocated. Nobody can find where any money has actually gone to black people. They're still talking about Act Blue and how it went to the Democratic race. All well and good. So all these different things, and let me tell you, the Breonna Taylor's mother is livid right now that they used her daughter's name to raise money and not to do anything for black people except for buy $3 million worth of houses. And then there's another BLM leader that has thousands of dollars in fancy suits that he bought with BLM money. It's a joke. We've been saying it's a joke for a long time. There's nothing worse that has happened to black people in the last 5 years. It's certainly not the police killings. It's Black Lives Matter perpetrating what is a massive marketing campaign to make money and not raise money, make money, and actually destroy black communities. Because as we can see, all the riots have actually taken place in their own communities and caused more damage, caused more poverty, caused more issues, caused more people out of work, and caused a loss of business. Wake up. All I can say is wake up. And the Democrats are finally waking up to see that Black Lives Matter is not the organization they thought it was. Year ago, had the same conversation. People thought I was nuts, thought I was crazy, thought I was out of my mind. Terrible, horrible person. Thought a lot of us were for saying, just look, they're not doing anything. And now they're finally coming around. So when you start calling people conspiracy theorists or you start calling them racist, hateful bigots, you're probably not right anymore because the world is absolutely backwards. That's what I got to say on this edition of Blunt Force Logic. Tomorrow, I want to talk about Memorial Day. I want to talk about the fact that our vice president, which will soon be the president clearly after the president just started talking about a 6-year-old child's legs, which is creepy, managed to say this is a long weekend and not apologize for being tone deaf. I think she did another post on Instagram that had fighter jets going above, but not one comment or not one correction, not one apology for what she said, which was simply, enjoy the long weekend. It's Memorial Day, and you're the vice president of the United States, soon to be president, because God knows what's going on with Joey Basements. And that's the way that you treat our service members. And you had an issue with the mean tweeters. I don't understand. What is going to wake people up? I don't. By the way, if anybody saw the Instagram post I had on earlier, I don't know. Can I actually pull it up on here? Let me see if I can. Whatever. It pretty much says in there that I think the world is backwards. You've got the people that are God-fearing, that go to church, that are being decent to each other, that don't look at race, instead look at content of character, what else did I say? Oh, and believe that police are there to protect and serve, being judged by those that are the ones that continue to party. And I'm not against, to be very clear, I'm not against any of that, but I think it's interesting that we flip the script on who's judging who, and it's absolutely incredibly wrong. And I got yelled at for being mean on that post, and it was by somebody that I asked for about an hour and a half what I said wrong. Couldn't get what I said wrong. Still haven't. Just said I'm hateful. That's the world we live in. Flip the script. Remember, little blunt force logic. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Free Cash Kelly. Take it easy, everybody.